So we're going to talk about Kevin Sorbo.
Kevin Sorbet.
Kevin Sorbet.
It's pronounced Kevin Sorbet.
Sorbet. God, get it right.
Sorry.
This is first we're just going to play. This is just to embarrass him before we talk about him.
This is awesome.
We're going to play this clip. It's a pretty famous clip of Kevin Sorbo like reading stage direction as though it were dialogue in a very dramatic fashion.
Yeah. So normally, you know, when you're reading a script, it kind of tells you how you're supposed to act, you know.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the screenwriter, but yeah, there's stage directions, there's, you know, indicators. It probably said, like, in parentheses, disappointed, but Kevin Sorbo decided to treat that as though it were part of the script.
In all caps.
Probably.
Yeah. So here we go.
Wait a minute. This isn't my world. Disappointed!
I want to point something out, too.
That's great.
That's like the evil Hercules from the other dimension or something, and he has a goatee. And this evil
Mirror
atheist,
universe.
and this evil atheist professor in this movie has a goatee as well.
It's mirror universe.
So Kevin,
Hercules.
like in Kevin Sorbo's mind, he's like, "Okay, Kevin, you're going to be playing an evil character."
Oh,
He's
shit.
like, "Oh shit, better
Goatee.
grow my goatee. I look very evil with a goatee."
That's kind of like in the first episode of the Mirror Universe Star Trek in the original series.
Goatees are the official beards of evil.
They show Spock, and you know he's evil because he has a goatee. They like close up on his face, and it's like Spock with a goatee, and
It's
it
like,
plays
oh,
like, dun,
shit.
dun,
Facial
dun.
hair, evil.
Evil Spock.
Yes.
Fuck.
All right, so we're
All
gonna
right, bitches. Now you know you fuck, cause you fucking with evil Spock. Oh.
we're gonna play a clip.
This is Kevin Sorbo on Bill O'Reilly.
Yes, plugging the movie God's Not Dead.
Yes, and Bill O'Reilly is about to fillet Kevin Sorbo publicly.
Oh, God, Kevin, so big.
It's going to be
No,
a
he's
beautiful...
fair and balanced, and he asks the tough questions. Come on.
Okay.
Story segment tonight, new
Gotta turn
film
it up.
called God Is Not Dead, and its star.
I just want to point
Sorbo.
out that if you're making
We'll be open to
movies
a few
like, you know, like this movie like already takes the defensive position, you know, just like with its title, God's not dead. That's like a big fat dude being like, I'm not fat.
Dude, this fucking movie's a total scam. It was made for $2 million, and now it's made like $50 million.
Well, I mean, it's not like a scam, really. I mean,
Yeah, it is. Because,
It's like a pyramid scheme movie.
dude, it fucking seriously is, because it just preys upon like the dumbest people. Like, this movie defends your religion.
There's a bunch of movies like that right now. The one about the kid that went to heaven.
Yeah, and they're all making a bunch of money too. It's a total fucking scam.
heaven is real.
We're going to talk about that later. too.
my grampy.
Theaters last week was a huge hit. Today it expands across the country. Film's premise is summed up by this clip.
I'm Professor Radisson. This is philosophy.
Radisson.
Radigan.
I know, right? I mean, like, didn't even try. Why didn't they just name him Professor McEvil?
They should have gave him like the Snidely Whiplash mustache, like that he could twirl in his finger.
Dude,
like,
that'd been awesome.
There is no God.
5-0. I would like to bypass senseless debate altogether and jump to the conclusion, which every sophomore is already aware of: there is no God. All that I require from each of you is that you fill in the papers I've just given you with 3 little words: God is dead.
These students are fucking stupid. All you have to do to pass is write God is dead. Like,
Yeah.
Easiest class ever. Like, okay, God's dead. Thanks.
This is a college level class. That means because like I wrote God's Not Dead in kindergarten. You know, didn't pass.
You wrote God's Not Dead?
Yeah, I wrote God's Not Dead
Good job.
because I was promoting the film preemptively
Preemptively.
before it was even made.
You're a prophet.
A prophet of things to come.
And joining us from Los Angeles is Mr. Sorbo.
He's
So
already
why should
shaved
I
the
see
goatee.
this
He's
flip?
in good
What am I
mode
gonna
again.
get out of this?
You know what? Every movie creates controversy, and certainly this movie will as well. And what you're doing is getting this.
Did Bedknobs and Broomsticks create controversy?
It probably
Just
did because it
wondering.
had witches in it.
Ooh. Yeah, you're probably right.
This is America, so I mean, like every movie at this point probably does cause controversy with someone, because you know, feminists are like, it does not pass the Bechdel test. So I mean, like, you know, every movie is gonna piss somebody off. That's actually true. Because I first pounced on that statement the first time I heard it, but now that I've actually had time to think about it, yeah, He's right. Pretty much every movie causes
The worst
controversy.
part I've seen is the Duck Dynasty part where they're like, we're going to interview them, and there's like just like this one lone reporter like, so why are you theists, basically? And they're like, we're theists because Jesus is awesome. And they're like, I have no response to that.
Scientific viewpoint from an atheist, but you're also getting the scientific viewpoint from the Christians. And it's like a miniature faith-based movie in a way, when like Crash. Remember the movie Crash about 10, 12 years ago, won the best picture?
Yep.
It's got 5 different stories in it that come together at the very end.
He's trying to equate it
this
to
story,
a movie that won an Academy Award for Best Picture.
Undeservingly, though.
Yeah. But,
Yeah,
even,
but-
even still, like, it's not the same caliber of movie. You can just tell by the way it's shot and the acting in it.
It has Kevin Sorbo in it. I mean, he's like the big name draw of the movie.
Yeah,
so.
he's only a fucking draw because this is Fox News.
This is the star of
This is
Hercules: The
bullshit.
Legendary Journeys we're talking about.
No one
This
gives
is
a
not
shit
like
about Kevin
fucking-
Sorbo. If Kevin Sorbo was an atheist, no one would care. He just is like, well, I'm a Christian, so people are like, good. He was kind of famous for something.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you throw, like, Edward Norton and fucking Sandra Bullock or something in it, then maybe you can be like, this is just like this other movie. But this looks like a made-for-TV movie that's somehow inexplicably being brought to big screens, and then even more inexplicably, people are actually paying money for it.
Like a Lifetime original, almost.
my battle with this
Christ-time
freshman
original.
student who wants to prove God to me in my class is obviously the anchor of the story.
All right, so you play the atheist professor, and the student, the younger actor, he plays the person who doesn't, who wants to promote a belief in God. Okay, that's interesting because that goes against type. Because in your real life, you are a believer, correct?
I love how he's just like walking him through it step by step.
Yeah, it's like,
So you
here,
do believe, right?
Bill's like, let me hold your hand and guide you through the process.
You're
of
really
being
not
on
an
my
evil.
show.
You're not really an evil atheist, are you? Oh no.
You're playing against type because you actually are a believer. He's like, oh yes, that's true. I am.
Kevin Sorbo, Shakespearean actor.
I am a believer, there's no question. I know it's shocking for people to find out that there are actually atheists in our universities, but yes, there are. And what's great at the end of this movie, there's 37 cases that they show with the university and student that people can freeze frame when they get the DVD and they can go check it out online for
No,
themselves.
there's no doubt. I mean, you know, we've been reporting that for years, that academia is rife with secularism and anti-religious
Rife with secularism.
Now, you're involved with this movie not as an
That's
actor,
disgusting.
but you're involved with the production and everything else. Did you get resistance in Hollywood from?
It's kind of funny because there's so many prominent religious universities out there that are not secular at all.
No. Those options are not available. The only thing these poor Christian families can do is send their kids to the big bad atheist schools.
Do you remember we were doing the video and
They
like,
try
we
to
found-
disabuse them of their faith.
They had a university that was they were screening it for, and it was Liberty University.
Yeah,
Yep.
you can go to
So, I mean,
you can go to
that's
Jerry
bullshit.
Falwell's bullshit school if you want. I mean, you know, I'd
But there's BYU.
if I was hiring, I'd probably wipe my ass with a degree from there. But you know,
BYU,
there's plenty
Notre
of Christian
Dame.
businessmen to hire you too.
yeah.
From
You
this
got a
film?
good
For this
religious
film?
education, right?
You know, it's not really resistance
Yeah, I'm
from
gonna
this
pray to
particular film.
fix
I've
the
been getting
company's
resistance for a long
finances.
time from it. My manager has told me many times that for me standing up for my political points of view and coming on shows like yours, and I've been on Hannity and things, and where
So is he just admitting that he stands up for his political points of view? Is he putting politics and religion together? Fine. That's bullshit. I don't know what happened. Let's see. Well, we're back on. Yeah, well, whatever. Fuck. We got disconnected.
Anyway, so Kevin Sorbo, I don't know if he's already said it in this interview, but at some point he's going to say that he doesn't proselytize, which is untrue. I mean, he's made this movie, which he partially financed himself and was involved intimately in the production of, which is a piece of proselytizing. It's definitely a movie that has a certain agenda that's trying to convince you of a certain viewpoint.
This is definitely Christian propaganda.
I mean, he comes on shows like the Oreilly Factor and Sean Hannity preaching, not necessarily preaching, but definitely advocating for, you know, religion. So I don't think he can make any sort of intellectually valid claim of, I don't proselytize. Kevin Sorbo, I'm disappointed!
He's not unbiased. Like, he's trying to portray himself now.
He's as unbiased as Fox News.
Yeah, to say not at all.
He's a denizen of the Fox Newsiverse.
It's a backlash to me. And I've noticed this year, I don't know, there were probably 50, 60 different pilots between all the cable and all the networks. I read for one. I got into read for one. I used to read for 10, 12 a year. Look, I had Hercules. It was the most watched TV show in the world for 7 years.
My career is not as strong as it used to be. It must be tied to my beliefs.
And then I've done about 50 movies since then, but most of them are in that
no
smaller,
actors
independent
ever
world, which is
fade
fine.
for no reason.
He's
you know,
done
Hollywood
50
owes me
movies.
nothing. I've
Okay.
been very fortunate. There are many actors
Besides
that would love
this
to have
movie,
the career I've had.
have you
But
guys
do I
seen
see
him in
a
any other
kickback
movies?
from it, and have I
Yeah,
heard,
name one other movie
the
Kevin
hatred and the
Sorbo
anger
is
comes
in.
back towards me for actually having a differing point of view in a city that claims tolerance? Yeah, it's definitely come back to bite me.
Okay, but it isn't that you are that right wing. I mean, I don't think. I'm not seeing anything really
Bill
crazy
O'Reilly
here.
says Kevin Sorbo is not that right wing.
Yeah,
He's not that right wing.
He's so
I mean,
persecuted. Poor Kevin Sorbo.
You know, there's
So bad for him being.
There's
a
something
millionaire.
funny that Bill O'Reilly's about to say that almost makes it sound like he implicitly thinks that he is a nut. That like he almost implicitly describes himself that way. If you just play this clip for a second.
All right.
You vote for both Democrats and Republicans. You are not
True.
evangelizing or proselytizing.
No.
So what is it?
Not at all.
What is it that you do that has annoyed the Hollywood chieftains?
It's not quite yet, actually.
Well, Bill, I think you know this. I mean, you've
point
heard
it
it from
out.
many other actors, and you know, from the John Voight's out there, and Kelsey Grammer's, the kickback that they even receive, and they're big stars. You know, even if you're an independent.
Kelsey Grammer played the same fucking character on TV for like 20 years.
20 years. In Cheers and then in Frasier.
Yeah, what else?
Both of which went for 11 seasons.
Right, and Frasier was a spin-off of Cheers.
Right, yes.
So it's
So he played the same character for 20 years.
not a big star by today's standards.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that his career has definitely flagged. I mean, I don't know if that show that he's in or was in was a, like Boss or something. I
Never heard of it.
Yeah.
Voter.
It's not
I
Game
am
of
definitely
Thrones.
a guy I'm not sitting on the fence, but I look at both sides. I vote with my heart, my mind, my gut. I actually look at people, weigh the pros and cons, who's going to be best for this country. But so many people,
No one else
especially
does
in
that,
this industry,
just Kevin
they vote
Sorbo.
with anger, they vote maybe out of fear, they vote with just, you know, people outside the industry vote for who's going to give me more stuff. I mean, you know that. You
All right,
report
so
this
if you're
stuff all
not
the time. So-
cheerleading for the Democratic Party or the liberal point of
Yes.
view, if you're not actively cheerleading, then your opportunities are cut down. And I believe that. I think you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm in the same business you're in now as a producer. Luckily, we have a very, very good system for my books. But we've had, you know, discussions with other people, big name stars. And you know, I know I'm not going to name them now, but believe me, I could at any moment. You know who you are.
I'm a big name star. I'm a big name star in my mind. But anyway,
No,
speaking of
but
books,
they
we're talking
wouldn't-
about God. I got to push this. I'm
Right.
going to push this. It's my wife's book, Proving the Existence of God. It's called The Answer. So check it out. And this goes hand in hand with this movie right here, to prove the existence of God.
Okay, now let me just wrap up my thought.
Buy
When
my snake oil.
A person in Hollywood,
And buy
certain
my wife's
people,
snake oil.
all right, hear that it's business with me, all right, they don't want to do that because their cocktail party invitations decline. It's a social thing as much as an ideological thing. But with you, I think it's crazy because you're just not a nutty kind of guy.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, with you, it's crazy because you're not a nutty kind of guy. It's like, well, are you saying that you are? Because, I mean, that's what he's contrasting, and he's saying, like, well, you know, he's comparing and contrasting himself and him about, like, oh, people don't want to talk to me because they'll cocktail invitations will go down. But you're not a nutty guy. It's like, well, so you're saying you are? I think Bill O'Reilly just kind of tacitly admitted that he's a nutty fucking guy.
This is a total bullshit line of dialogue. Like, your cocktail invitation went down. It's like, okay, people that obviously don't agree with Kevin Sorbo and don't like him are not going to invite him to parties. I'm sure there's plenty of conservative assholes that will invite Kevin Sorbo to their cocktail parties.
I don't see a lot of conservatives like, hey, don't forget to invite the hippies to our big soiree.
Yeah, exactly. It's just ridiculous.
And you're not that far out there. So what's the name of your wife's book again, just so you're happy when you go? Because I don't want Hercules mad at me. Go ahead.
It is called The Answer.
The Answer.
It's
Okay.
called The
And
Bill
Answer.
is just like
Proof
the
of God
most
in heaven. Please
accommodating
check it out.
fucking
And you know
guy
what? I don't
ever
get invited as
to
much
Kevin
as I
Great.
used
Sorbo.
to.
Oh, Kevin, you're
part is
great.
true.
Why don't you
But,
hold your
you know,
wife's
lucky.
book up
Like I said,
again?
how-
I want everyone to
Throw
see.
that pile
All
of
right,
shit.
movie is God, not dead.
Hold that pile of
So,
shit in
thank
front
you.
of America's face. Let him get a good strong whiff.